Okay, thank you very much for completing the theory aspect of the digital forensic course. And I want to do a summary. We started a course by going through introduction to digital forensic. What's digital forensic? What are the different goals? Are you trying to do a private investigation, or are you trying to do a public investigation? Are you trying to meet a regulatory standard? Are you trying to meet compliance? What are the future trends like? We looked at that. Challenges like people using anti-forensic techniques, people encryption, and the rest. Legal implication, you want to be conversant with the GDPR regulation, with the Cybercrime Act of your country. And we looked at some of the tools that we're going to be using in the course. We looked at FTKey Major, we looked at Autopsy, we looked at Virus Total, we looked at Sukuri, we looked at Hex Editor, and quite a lot of them. Then in module 2, we looked at the different career aspects. Just like every other areas in tech, they all have an application in digital forensics. So whether you're trying to do network investigation, see what happens on the network, or for instance, you want to know what type of devices is being used on the network, FTK Major can do that for you. Is it FTK Major? No, Autopsy can do that for you. You want to know the operating system, a system is running on a hard disk that has been on a hard disk. You want to know the software is installed and the rest, the applications installed. Or is it cloud? Is it malware analysis? I told you later on in this course, I'm going to do a malware bootcamp. It's just 6 slides. I'm going to explain that and run some labs for you. Then in this course, we also looked at other aspects of digital forensics. We also talked about the certification by EC Council, the forensic investigator, by SANS, also by which other one again? There are quite a number of them by NCASE. NCASE has a certification and a whole lot of other certifications. But these 3 I mentioned are industry standards. Then we looked at preparing for an investigation, chain of custody, making sure that from the point of collection of your item to the time you're presenting it in a law court or you are doing your presentation to C-level executives, that there is integrity, there's no tampering, there's no change, there's no pilfering. We looked at the tools and the knowledge you need to be aware of. You need to understand hardware, you need to understand software, you need to understand hex numbers and the different forensic distributions. Kali has quite a number of tools, you could use that. Then we also looks at the file system fundamentals, where we solve the boot sequence, what happens, the file system, what is contained in the hard disk, how is the hard disk partition, what are boot sector, and how are things loaded on the BIOS of a system. Then in module 5, we looked at cryptography, the concept of hashing, the password, the concept of hiding files. And in the lab, we're going to be looking at OpenStego and quite a number of tools that has to do with hiding files. Then we also talked about hashing because it's very critical in maintaining integrity. Then in module 6, we talked about acquiring and preserving the data. We want to use write blockers. I showed you the Tableau hardware kit, and also FTK Major can do that, and some other write blockers. So they are either software write blockers or they are hardware write blockers. And the role of the write blockers is that to ensure that the hard disk or the storage medium you're taking up evidence from, data is not written to it, so that your evidence can be admissible in court or to C-level executives during presentation. The 7th module, we looked at analyzing data and presentation of your digital evidence. So here we're going to be using Autopsy to do all of that. So this is going to be a purely hands-on lab. Then for forensic digital lab setup, at the end of the course, I'm going to be doing a guide from you adapting by the FBI. I have a report. It's a nice guide to share. I'm going to drop that in the mentorship group for all of us. If you want to set up a lab, what you should have. Okay, I think that's the summary of all the things we looked at. And in the lab session, we're going to be touching on autopsy, hex workshop, FTK, major opposite Wireshark, virus Sukuri, bulk extractor, sys internals, and maybe G-patent, right? We might not touch this since we're going to be doing this. And any other additional one I've mentioned in the course of the course, we're going to touch roughly about 15 tools for you to get your hand dirty with digital forensics. Thank you very much for going through this course. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to comment if this makes sense to you. And if you're a student taking physical classes or taking remote classes, do well to comment, do well to ask questions within your mentorship group, and I'm going to answer you.